All right, I wanted to give you guys an update on what's going on with my rain tote system. It's not like I got a lot of views on it, but somebody may come across it later and want to know what I did. But this is called a bulkhead fitting. And it goes on with, it's not righty tighty, lefty loosely, it's the opposite. So the bulkhead fitting allows me to drill a hole in the top of my tote. Okay? So then this, I stick my hand in the hole, and then I push this up from the bottom. And it's got a big rubber seal on it, you can see there. See that? Is what that is. So once that's sticking up, now you add this, the nut on the end, and you go the opposite way to tighten it. And you tighten it all the way down, no glue, okay? And then it hits the rubber, and you keep tightening it until you get a good snug fit, and now there's no leaking. Inside, we have threads, which connects to this. Now this unit, all right, is very important. This unit originally came with a stainless steel cage and a 90-degree blue elbow. I had to go to my local hardware store, Ace, and buy this 90-degree elbow, but it had to have threads on the outside. See those threads? That's very important. These were on Amazon. They were about 10 bucks. At Ace, they were like $5, $6. So obviously I went to Ace, and I got 6 of them. Now, you need this piece to screw into this one, right? So then I got 1-inch pipe, a 5-foot length, like 20 bucks. And what I did was I measured 2 inches, but just a little bit smaller. And that's to connect the blue pipe into Ace's pipe. Problem, the 1-inch would not go into the blue pipe, which is the stainless steel. This was metric, comes from China. It would not fit. Once I cut my 1-inch pipe just under 2 inches long, I had to put it on my sander, and half of it I sanded down, slowly taking some of the PVC away. And then I had to keep sticking it inside this to see when it got snug. When I managed that, I was there. So then I added my glue. I stuck it in this one first, the metric one. And then I came back, added my other glue, and then I added the Ace pipe. So then I came up with this look. I originally was going to go from the bottom because I thought it looked cooler, but it wasn't enough room underneath it. So how's this work? Well, because we got that thread, that goes into our bulk fitting. And it just screws in. Now again, I could glue it, but why bother? It works just fine. So then that's going to sit, you're going to see the gray knob here on top of the tote. And it's going to sit in the corner. So I'm going to drill a hole in the corner of the tote. Then of course you see I painted it black. That's because of UV. We don't want UV destroying everything of the sun. And every single tote needs one. Why? Well, there are 2 things in a tote. Water and air. And water goes up and down, and air goes up and down. So as the water goes up, it's pushing air out, which in turn comes through these stainless steel screens. When the water goes down, air gets sucked in here and goes down. You need air. Now some people loosen their caps and do it that way. I don't want to do that. I want a perfectly sealed system. And if I have to say so, it's probably the best rain collection barrel system I'm setting up that you've probably ever seen on YouTube with anybody. Now, the reason these screens are so important to me was because of how small they are. All right? A mosquito cannot get through that. Look at that. There is no way a mosquito is going to get through that at all. Nothing. There is nothing on the bottom. See? Is what they are. The 1-inch runs about 13 bucks. So with this system, it allows the air in, it allows the air out. No bugs, insects, or anything gets into the tote. The tote is completely sealed. Lids are cranked down. So pretty impressive, actually. But by the time you're done, you're in the 25 bucks or so for each one to do each tote. And some people would say, oh my God, that's crazy expensive. You want something done right? Do it properly. And that's all there is to it. So then when I was surfing, I ended up seeing these two gadgets. And I thought, boy, these look pretty cool. We got our stainless steel cage again that just comes out. Now this one I think is a proper fit, but I won't know until I get to it. And this is a 2-inch, okay? So they took the stainless steel and it screws in here, and then you connect a 2-inch pipe. This is for the overflow. I wanted to have a 2-inch overflow, and I didn't want it coming out of the lid. That made no sense to me. So I'm going to go in the side of the tote. So I'm going to drill a hole. And one of these, a little bigger one, is going to go in the side. Then we're going to run a pipe. We're going to run 90. We're going to come down. This is going to go on the bottom, and we're going to glue it. So now we have the overflow, which means once all the tanks are full and they reach a certain height, they're actually going to turn around and come out the side. Nothing's going to get in here. I'm not going to have any mice climbing in here and mosquitoes, nothing. When I go outside and I look, I can see if this screen mess is filled up with any type of dirt because I got quite a bit of room there. And this will allow the system to take water out if it's raining too much. If that happens too much, I might want to consider 2 more totes. This one, this is a 1-inch. So why buy this one? This one will go into tote 4. I'm going to have 3 totes in the line, and number 4 is going to be sitting close to the house. This is going to go 3/4 way down into the tote. Not all the way. 1-inch pipe is going to go straight up. Again, we're going to have one of these. Pipe is going to come out. It's going to have a 90, and it's going to go in the house to where the pump is. The whole reason for this thing is that you get pollen, you get stuff on top of the water, stuff actually falls, and it ends up in the bottom. This is why this is going in tote 4. Tote 1 is where the water comes in. So that water's kind of getting slurred up. And then because we have a manifold system, all the totes rise and lower at the same time. So tote 4 will have no real movement of water except for slowly rising and slowly dropping is what it would have. And my cleanest water is going to be 3/4 of a way down inside that tote. So that's where this is. Some people get some that float. And when you look at those gadgets, those things are pretty expensive. They're like $300. My idea is 1-inch pipe, this $10 screen thing, comes up with one of these on the lid, comes up, goes in the house, so what, 20, 30 bucks? I've got a beautiful system that brings the water into the toilet and into the wash machine. And you'll notice I'm filtering every which way I can, is what I'm doing. You know, I'm doing a flush system. Okay, then it empties into a screen. Okay, now this, again, we're protecting debris from getting in here that comes in the house. Now the house setup's going to have a 100 micron filter, and then it's going to go into the pump. So I'm going to filter again, because I want the cleanest water possible, not necessarily for drinking, but for going into the wash machine. Because when you get things going into your machine, especially the machine I got, you'll end up breaking it. So that's very important. And another reason for the entire closed system is what there is. So here's where I'm at. This took a couple days. I mean, I put the pieces together, glued them, sanded them, painted them. They're all ready to go now. I see a little blue still. I could take a little paintbrush and hit that blue to make it all pretty. But I'm pretty much there. Pretty soon we will be attacking the totes and start piecing things together. In 2 weeks, I will be buying the eave troughing. In 2 weeks, I will get the eave troughing up. And I will get one tote functional to where the water is going into the tote. So we can actually see a working system from the eave trough to the first flush to screening it to internet tote. I might get 2 hooked up, and we'll go from there. There are some other things I want to do that I'm playing around with, but I'm still working with ChatGPT as we do this other build of things we're doing, is what it is. So I don't even know what to call this video, other than the best way to get air into a tote and the best way to get air out without having bugs. So I'll have links in the bottom to this stuff I bought. And like I said, I got this off Ace because it was cheaper. But I will have a link to it on Amazon so you know the name, so you know what you're searching for. And I'll have a link to Ace too. But it's not an affiliate link, just so you know what this complete system is and what you need if you want to do the same thing. You do need a bit set to drill a hole in the corner of your range system. I'll even have a link to a cheap one. You don't need an expensive one just to get all this hooked up. So that's where we're at. And I'll get you guys on the next one.